In today's video we're going to be catching up with an old friend. This is my most popular tune of 2024. We're going to do a complete refresh of the tune, make it even faster. This is the absolutely bonkers Nissan Silvia, and it now does 265 miles an hour around Tokyo. Stay tuned, I'll show you exactly how to build it. Hello everybody, KCR-Mark here, thanks for stopping by. So 2024 has been a bit of a crazy time on the channel. I'm absolutely blown away by all the support from everybody. I've recently surpassed over 1 million views, and the last coming year we gained over 7,000 subscribers on the channel, which is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. I really didn't expect that. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody that's watched any of my videos, all the amazing comments I've had. I really do appreciate it. So just under 5 months ago now I built the Nissan Silvia Q. This is the LS7 engine swap car with over 1100 brake horsepower. It did 255 miles an hour down the straight. It was an absolute animal. It went on to become my most popular video on the channel. I got some absolutely amazing feedback and response. Everyone seemed to like it, so as a bit of an end of year treat I thought I'd revisit the car, refresh the tune a little bit. There's been a few updates since then, and in the process of doing that I've made it even quicker. So we're going to run through the complete build from start to finish. This is a 600 pp build. Just to warn you in advance, you do need to be level 50 to follow this tune. It does involve an engine swap, so without further ado, let's get straight into the build. So this is a car that's on rotation at the used car dealership. At the time of making the video on Boxing Day, this is a car that's actually available right now. It's a Nissan Silvia Q's S13 1988. It's 31,800 credits. From there we want to head straight to GT Autos, where we're going to perform the engine swap. As you can see, there's actually two available for this car. The one we want is the LS7 BRZ, 300,000 credits, an absolutely insane engine. And we're going to be tuning this to well over 11,000 brake horsepower. We also want to have the wide body kits, just 5,000 credits for this car, for some much needed stability. Next in GT Autos we want to go to the car customization. Here we're going to fit whichever wheels you prefer, 17 or 18 inch width, wide offset and wide width. Next we're going to head to the aero parts, where we're going to use either a Type A or a Type B front splitter, whichever you prefer the look of. It doesn't affect the performance points of this car. We're using a Type B side skirts. We're going to use Type B rear diffuser for much needed downforce, and we're going to use a custom wing set, whichever you prefer the look of. Again, it doesn't affect the PP. You can also use a Type B if you prefer the look of that one. On this particular car we also added a roll cage C, but that doesn't affect the PP again on this car at all. Next up we're going to head to tuning parts. We want weight reduction stage 1, sports hard tyres. We want weight reduction stage 2, power restrictor and ballast. Moving on to semi-racing, we want the high performance RPM turbocharger, the fully customised LSD, weight reduction stage 3 and increased body rigidity. Onto racing, the racing science already comes with the engine swap. We want racing brake pads, racing brake discs. We want brake balance controller, fully customised suspension, racing clutch and flywheel. We're going to be using a fully customised racing transmission on this car, and that is all the parts that you need to buy, a fairly inexpensive build. Next we're going to head on to the tuning sheet itself. Obviously this car is built predominantly as a power car. It's just designed to go extremely fast down the straight, which it definitely does. But we've tried to tailor the suspension to try and make it a bit more drivable. Obviously it's got a huge amount of power and it's quite a light car as well. So we've got quite a supple suspension setup, trying to harness that power and get it nice and drivable. The diff helps quite a bit as well. Heading on to transmission, the car is a little bit limited because it's only got 5 gears, so we've had to really increase the top speed. We've kept the ratios as standard, so this car doesn't accelerate brilliantly, but once it gets up to speed it's absolutely ballistic in a straight line. We've had to adjust the power restrictor a little bit just to get the PP down. 40 at the front for the ballast, 195 kilograms. Rear downforce is set to 250 and the front is on minimum. This is all to get the PP down obviously, and elsewhere it's just what we were using before. The brake controller anywhere between 1 and 3 to the rear seems to work pretty good for this car, and elsewhere it's just everything else we've fitted previously. And with all that done, we end up with a car that's satisfyingly exactly on 600 pp, 1183 brake horsepower and 1176 kilos. So the car we're built, we can head to the Tokyo Expressway. We're going to the World Touring Car 600. Now I'm not going to go too much in detail with the race. This is a revisit of a previous tune, so I just want to see how it holds up and how it performs after the new update and the few changes that we've done to the car. So it goes without saying this car is extremely powerful, so the first thing you want to do, especially on the damp track, is go straight onto full traction control. This car is an absolute beast. It will wheel spin in top gear even in the dry, so you have to be very careful with it. That's not to say it's a nightmare to drive. It's actually fairly pleasant to drive, but it's just so satisfying just flying down the main straight, just breezing past everybody, doing over 260 miles an hour when you're on an actual hot lap. It's just absolutely insane car. In terms of handling, as it was before, it's surprisingly good. It's really well planted, and you just got to be really careful with that power. It is just an absolute brute. But as long as you're nice and steady with the inputs and don't go too crazy, it's a fairly controllable car, especially when the track's dry. So even with that surprisingly good handling, it's still not an easy car to drive, I would say. It does take a bit of practice, but once you get used to it, it's really rewarding and great fun. As you can see, you can get some really quick lap times out of this as well, a 2:04 and a 2:03, but it's fairly hard to be consistent. But it's such a good laugh and so quick down the straights, it really doesn't matter. It just annihilates everything else on the track. In terms of strategy, with that traction control on, it seems to manage the tyres fairly well. You will need to pit one time. I did it at the end of lap 6. Surprisingly good on fuel with so much power, but you are coasting around a lot of the lap, which I think helps with the fuel economy quite a bit. Just one other thing to note on this car, obviously you're carrying ridiculous amount of speed down the straight, so you do need to brake extremely early for the first corner. It will catch you out the first couple of times, but once you get your braking points sorted, it's not really a problem. So in conclusion, I really enjoyed my revisit to this car. It's still as mental as I remember from the first time. It's just absolutely phenomenal down the straight, and the lap times you can get out of it are up there with the very best. It's not the easiest to drive, but it's great fun once you get used to it. So not one of my most serious builds. This is just designed to be a good laugh, and everyone seemed to really enjoy it, so that's why I wanted to revisit it and refresh the tune a little bit. So really hope you enjoy it. As you can see, you get an absolutely enormous winning margin pretty easily with this car. I did a couple of crashes and dodgy laps and still beat the opposition by over 50 seconds on the hardest setting. So I really hope you enjoy that. Let me know how you get on in the comments. I really enjoy reading the comments, as I have done all year, and I really appreciate all of them. So thanks for a great year, and I'll see you in 2025.